recording.
Okay, so we are talking about the the project and project public phase, lesson number 6, and the first topic is project phase closure. As I was explaining, in predictive project, naturally you understand that there is an acceptance criteria for the whole project, which would be applicable at the end of the project when we are handing over the product, right? But if there are phases in the project, naturally for the ease of doing the work, which are sequential in nature, one phase after the other, naturally every phase will have its own product, its own acceptance criteria, but phases are generally advised to be in sequence. When one phase is completed, only then the next phase can start. So every phase has its own acceptance criteria. Well, for predictive, I said that the acceptance criteria includes everything. I mean, the compliance requirements and things like that. Because we don't have separate acceptance criteria for every requirement. We have it for the whole product, or maybe if you want to break your product down to phase level, so we can have acceptance criteria for one acceptance criteria for each phase, right? But we don't want to go any further deeper. But in Agile, we want to have an acceptance criteria for each and every user story. Each and every user story. So that means that is a private acceptance criteria for that user story, and that does not include the compliance and safety and environmental and quality requirements into it, right? So as per the desire of the customer, we get the job done, show it to the customer. That is our acceptance criteria. But when we have to physically hand that over that product, we want any part of the product, when we want to physically hand that over to the customer, we are mandated to accomplish the compliance requirements, and that comes with the definition of done. Definition of done means that all the required compliance requirements are also complete. So acceptance criteria of all the required user stories plus the definition of done at that point in time when we are getting the DOD completed, all the products we are trying to hand over, they must pass through definition of done. Some people use acceptance criteria and definition of done, these two terminologies, synonymously, but they are not really synonymous. As I said, acceptance criteria relates to each user story, and just by having the acceptance criteria achieved does not mean that you can hand over the goods to the customer. I'm not saying you can't hand over. I'm saying if you have to hand over partially or the complete product at that point in time, maybe that point is the release point, if that point is the end of the project point, that point is at the end of a sprint point, you have to complete the definition of done. Teams may use the terms interchangeably. People do use it interchangeably, but as I have made you understand, I hope people also understand that there is difference between acceptance criteria and definition of done.
Definition of that. Yes.
Okay, moving on. Why projects are phases closed? Well, I think this is quite simple. All the requirements of that project has been completed, has been accomplished. You have recorded all the lessons learned, or whatever was a business need or whatever was given in the business case has been accomplished. All, there is, we don't need to prolong the project anymore. We have delivered what we were supposed to deliver. So project oblique deliverable is no longer desired. That could be a situation when the business need has been affected. Project is no more feasible, close the project. The deliverable is no more desirable, close the project. impediments are encountered, like financial, there are no more funding available for the project, other risks. So these could all be the situations where we can prematurely do a forced closure of the project. The first scenario was everything has been done. Okay, project, this is a genuine case for closing down a project. But what about other situations? These are all the other situations. The requirements have changed, or impediments have been encountered. In requirements, we said no longer feasible internally or externally. And in impediments, we say financial support is no more available, or it has become too risky. I did show you a chart in which there is a chaos area, right? When
Yes.
the project is in chaos area, then that must be closed down because it is too damn risky. Can't really handle it. Okay, in a predictive project, we have either to close the project or close the phase. Because our phase is considered as a mini project, the big deliverable of the main project may have been broken down in several parts, and those parts are named as phase, and every phase would be treated just like an independent project, right? Because there is no parallelism going on. Like there are no two phases happening simultaneously. There is a sequence. When phase one is completed, only then the phase two can start. So when I have completed the work on foundation, only then I can start construction of building, right? So things like that. So they are kind of sequential, but sometimes there might be a little bit of overlap, right? Although the foundations have been completed, the approval has yet not been received. And until and unless the approval is received, we cannot start the work of construction, right? But because that is taking undue time, so we have been requested that we will get you the approval ultimately, but in the meanwhile, you can start the next phase. So that means while the phase one is still open, we may have to start the next phase, but that does not mean the both phases have started together. There may be a little overlap at the end of the first phase and at the start of the second phase. So that overlap is acceptable. Otherwise, preference is always to sequence. Anyways, acceptance of deliverables or product by the customer will tend amount to closing of the project or the phase. Transition of deliverables to the product to customer. Notify enterprise organization functions like, you want to submit your lessons learned and into the organizational process assets are in the archive. You want to submit the final report to your organization as the project can be considered as closed. Conclude external obligations, if any, like maybe any legal obligation, regulatory or contractual obligation, maybe transfer of liability, maybe closure of all accounts in the financial system. That is very important. People do the work, and after they are, winding up the business, they don't close the account, which is really very bad, right? Because
Right.
in official document, that business is still on. Similarly, when a project is closed down, all the accounts must be closed. Archive the project information and release the resources, whatever their human resources, financial resources, or physical assets. These activities are part of the closed project or phase process and are typically included in project management plan. We already have a plan for them. We know what to do about it, but here we are discussing only this closing project and phase area. Transitions, whatever you have to hand over. Naturally, you have to hand over the product to the customer or to the,
Customer.
yeah. So it should be a transition of that product to the customer environment. I mean, it may include transportation, it may include, installation and, maybe training. And, it will only complete when the transition is complete. That all depends upon your contract with the customer. If customer says that I need this software and you just make it and I'll pick it up, So I don't need to install it in their premises or things like that. I can give them a CD that you can go and you can install it. This way, if you have any problem, we can deal with it. But if it is a complicated system we have developed in-house, and the machinery and everything has to be installed on the customer premises before they can start using it. So in that, the transition requirements can be a little bit more complex. But whatever they are part of the project management plan. In a hybrid project, naturally, hybrid is a tailored solution which is partially predictive and partially agile. So most likely, we will do things in a incremental manner. So delivery will be incremental. So transition would be happening whenever a phase is completed or maybe a major milestone has been achieved. In Agile, our iterations are continuous in nature, our sprints are continuous in nature, and it is very much possible that after every sprint, we may be delivering everything, delivering whatever we have produced there to the customer directly. But remember, when I'm delivering the product to the customer directly, at this stage, I need to do the DOD, right? Definition of done, right?
Done. Yeah.
If customer doesn't want the product right now, but he wants to give the approvals, so he will give approval and I'll move on to the next sprint. Generally, as I said, like in predictive, we have got phases. In agile, we have got releases. So at the release point, we will be, until that time, all the sprints we have conducted and their output has been collected there. Maybe it has been loaded into a truck and it will only be shipped to the customer after the DOD of everything has been done, and then it will be handed over to the customer, right?
Customer. Okay.
And the third point is it could be, at the end of the project also. So it could be in anywhere. So in Agile, we are much more flexible. Transition and handover ensure your customer is ready for change and success. Readiness may
Yes,
require.
just a question for the previous slide.
Mhm.
For the end one, it says that the every iteration output is handed to the product owner. So wouldn't it can also be customer directly, right?
Yeah, actually, our relation with the customer is through the product owner. Even
Okay.
even when I finish my iteration, I do not. You remember that review we do, the
Yes.
demonstration we do. Classically speaking, we are doing it to the product owner because product owner is considered the voice of the customer. The presence of customer is not required, is optional. But if the customer is there, they can speak for themselves. But generally, product owner is the voice of customer. He defends the cause of the customer. The interesting part is product owner is from our organization, but he has been nominated to represent the customer. You understand my point?
Yeah.
That's why it says that you have to hand over to the product owner. Product owner will keep collecting it, the physical product, into the for prepare them for the shipping whenever the DOD is done, right? Maybe it is being done at the end of the release or at the end of the project or maybe in the middle of the release, wherever is possible, because the physical possession of the product is to be given after the definition of done has been completed. Right now, what we have are the just the acceptances of our miscellaneous user stories. Okay, transition handover readiness. Ensure your customer is ready for change and success. We talked about a lot about change, right? We have discussed about change that like the ad car model and all, that you have to prepare the people for whom you are bringing the change. They should be able to take on that and they should be able to run it, right? It is not a system that I just throw onto them and they don't like it and they will never use it. So transition also means that we are preparing them, we are convincing them, we are ensuring they are capable of using it and they can effectively use the system and ultimately when we are satisfied, then we disengage. So we not only hand over, but we are transitioning the things to them. Readiness may require additional change management activities to ensure adoption. That is what I was talking about, as if they adopt to the new system. And naturally, there is always a resistance to change, how to overcome that change. So for that, you have to refer back to the lesson on change management we talked about in the middle of the course.
Yeah.
Assess the readiness of all parties. You look at the end user, the businesses, the project team, and the support staff, and deal with them as far as a transition and handover is concerned, to check their readiness. Are they ready for that? Right? Transition handover activities, transition requirements can include training on the product or service you are providing, documentation, effective communication between team and the organization, and post-implementation support, like the maintenance service, or maybe hypercare, or whatever you want to call it. So the question is, where are the transition requirements recorded in a predictive project?
In a register.
Which register?
Change management log or something like that.
No, that change management log is about the change request. But where, you see, it's very simple. Transition requirements are requirements. Wherever the requirements are recorded, they are recorded there.
There we go. Okay.
So transition requirements are in the requirement traceability matrix. Okay. Paying and closing contracts. This is closing the contract. Naturally, this is extremely important, that whatever subcontracts we have awarded to various people, we have to close them all. And there are some do's and don'ts about closing and paying off the contract. You see, as I said earlier, if somebody has done a job, they deserve to be paid according to the contract, right? This is a very bad tendency, that they have done the job, we close the contract, but we don't pay them, right? That is
Right.
very bad. That is not official. That is unethical. That is illegal. So, what are the do's? Notify the appropriate entity, usually accounts payable, when work has been fulfilled and contract can be paid. You see, once the project team is satisfied that the contractor has done their job and they've given the approval, they can inform the accounts payable of the organization that the payment should be made. Second point, pay supplier or vendor in accordance with the contract terms. If they are supposed to be paid within 10 days, within 10 days of the approval, they should be paid, right? You should not delay the payment. Some payments may have been made during the project naturally. Of course, they might have done a phase of the contract and we have paid them. But you see, the complete closure means all the payments must be cleared with them. What you don't have to do is to delay the payment. That is bad habit. That is unethical until project or phase closure. If there is a payment required to be done after the feasibility of the project, or after the procurement of the project, or it is the mobilization advance, you have to pay it. Why are you waiting for the phase or contract to close? That are many payments being done, so don't have to delay them unless specified in the contract. Whatever the contract says, what payment is to be made at what point in the time. So this is important. Then finalizing contracts. Archiving contract, just like we archive our project data, whatever the contracts have been closed down, we will file them. We will collect all this data, index it, and file it either in a computer archive, cloud storage, or maybe in a physical filing system. So what all are we archiving? The contract schedules, scope of each of the contract, quality, cost performance, contract change documents, payment records, financial documents, inspection results, and most importantly, as built or as developed documents. I hope you understand as built and as developed. There is a concept in construction industry which is called as planned and as is, or as planned and as built. I may design a building which could, have a complete architecture or map of that, and sewerage lines and everything are very clearly shown there. But when the contractor completes it, there is no guarantee that he has built it as per the plan. Why? It may look like it is the same, it is as per the plan, but maybe when he was digging the place for sewage, he might have found out that there is a hurdle and he might have turned the drain on another direction, and it was never recorded. So whatever happens during construction and as the construction is complete, we must supply a as-built drawing or design to the organization as if they know. This is something which I faced. I was once called by a housing society, a very reputed housing society, and they said that although we have got everything in order, we do a beautiful job, but we have a problem, and that is when people occupy the building, they have problems in the water lines and pipelines and all. When we dig there is nothing, no pipes. So what is wrong? Where do they go? Do you understand what happened?
No, not exactly.
There are no pipes. There are no gas pipes. No, but they have got all the water coming, all the gas coming, all the electricity. Everything is coming. So they must have got connection from somewhere. The pipes are not as per the design.
Okay.
Right? They were laid. They were laid down by the contractor at different places, and that is not recorded. That is not recorded, and they don't know.
Yeah.
So they need as-built drawings as well. Right? That is a very important document in engineering. So that is a point. So this should be part of the contract, that the contract will not be finalized until they provide the as-built drawings. Question: is the following statement true or false? The requirement traceability matrix is a grid that links product requirements from their origin to the deliverables that satisfy them.
True.
It is true. Okay. In which of the following situations would you not perform close project or phase? When a project is terminated, when a project phase is completed, when a customer validates interim deliverable, when a project is complete. What do you say?
When the project is terminated?
When the project is terminated, it is formally closed. It is formal closure. When a phase is completed, it is a formal closure. When a project is completed, it is a formal closure. But when a customer validates interim deliverable, how the project can be closed?
Closure, yeah. So see.
If a project was terminated early, why would the project manager insist that the team perform the close projecting phase? Like you said, if it was terminated, then we all have gone home. Suddenly somebody told termination and everybody goes home. That's not how the things happen. At the moment you get a termination order, you have to conduct the close project process there and then. So why would the project manager insist that team perform close project or phase? To document the reason why the project was terminated early and determine how to transfer the finished and unfinished deliverable to others. Second option is to document that the project was a waste of time and the project and its output are no longer needed. C, to make sure everyone knows that the reason for project termination was either the team's or project manager's fault.
A.
D is the correct answer. The document delta. The document to document lessons learned so mistakes won't be repeated in future. Why are you so concerned about pointing the finger on others? No, sorry, A is the correct answer. To
Yeah, I was
document,
saying A.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Okay, A is the correct answer. To document the reasons why the project was terminated early, determine how to transfer the finish. That is the basic reason, right?
Yes.
Okay. The project manager wants to make sure all the team members understand the importance of the whole closing process and ask if there are any questions, any more questions. One team member asked, what would happen if this process was not done? The closing process was not done. What will happen? The customer would not be obliged to pay for the project. The next related activity phase, our project might not be authorized to begin. The stakeholders would not have any faith in the project team for future projects. The team members would not be allowed to be assigned to future projects. What you think is true?
B. The next related activity phase or project might not be authorized to begin because we
Good.
formally need to close everything.
Right. Which three of the following activities are part of closing a phase or project? Three are correct. Release resources, initiate acceptance of deliverables or product by customer, archive project information and request updates to OPAs, transition responsibility to the project sponsor or a key stakeholder since project managers are responsible for project implementation.
A, C, and D.
A, C, and D. A, B, and C. Initiate acceptance of deliverables.
Why initiate acceptance of deliverable of
Initiate
product?
acceptance of deliverables are product by customer.
Okay.
When we say transition responsibility to the project sponsor, what nonsense. Why are we transitioning the responsibility to project sponsor? Sir, I am very busy, so you take over. Give it to the customer. Why are you transitioning it to the sponsor? Right? Okay, we are done with this one. Then we have got the benefit realization. Some benefits are immediate while others could have take a few months. You understand? I have talked about the benefits. Some benefits may be realized during the life of the project. Some realize at the end of the project. Some realize long after the project has been handed over. So benefits accrue at various stages depending on project life cycle, nature of project work, and intended outcome. Well, outcome we normally associate with those benefits which are realized either during or immediately after the project has been completed. But and the long-term benefits, I would rather like to call them the benefit realization. Benefit transition and sustainment. Well, just like we talked about the project transition, that product of the project is transition, although long-term benefit realization is going to come in many years after the project has been closed and all of you who are working on the project have gone to other areas, other projects. So who is there to realize the benefit? Who is there when the benefits will be realized? Then they will also be transitioned and sustained, just like we transitioned the product of the project to someone. So benefits will also be transitioned and sustained, but naturally, this is the parent that won't be the responsibility of project manager because the whole project team has been abandoned.
Yeah.
So this could be the responsibility of the program manager or the project sponsor or the business analyst or the organization or customer who have taken over that project. They will be responsible for ultimate benefit transition and sustainment. But talking from the program management perspective, it is the responsibility of the program manager to ensure the benefits are transitioned and sustained to the customer. Anyways, in predictive projects, any improvement or modification to delivered benefits is a new project. So it is not a project manager's responsibility. Any improvement, agile, any improvements or modifications to delivered benefits are proposed as work for the next future iteration. So this is very much possible that, while we are doing the work, customer may come up with new ideas, new requirements, and they can keep adding the requirement. So we are comfortable in agile that we can keep, a continuous value delivery, not really a benefit, but a continuous value delivery. In a hybrid project, we could have organizations and teams tailor solutions for benefits, realization, and sustainment. That is post-implementation support. Well, this concept comes from the software industry, where we have got this mechanism of DevOps. Did I discuss it with you?
We also have a team of DevOps. You
Okay.
just discussed it briefly, yeah.
It may be called a hypercare. It's kind of a continuous loop where the agile team is the development team. They are continuously getting new requirement and they are delivering to the operations, and operations are continuously adding new requirement. So this is a kind of a mechanism in a software industry, in a development industry, where this loop never ends. That is directly related with the improvement of the organization. Right? So DevOps is a continuous loop. Okay, benefit transition and sustainment. Project team, what are the responsibilities here? Project team delivers the benefits to customer organization. That's about all. Provides planned performance data. Works with business owner to suggest benefit realization metrics, including frequency and monitoring responsibilities. So because we are handing over, whatever benefits we are delivering, we are, not the long-term benefit, immediately those benefits I'm handing over. So I would tell them how to maintain them, how to sustain them, and how to benefit from them. Determine if any remaining risk might prevent management benefit achievement. So, we had identified number of risks, but once we are handing over, those risks which are relevant to the benefits which we are delivering at this stage could also be handed over, and they should also be trained to deal with them, because these benefits are going to go on forever. So all concerns and all issues, all risks in those areas must be transferred to the party taking over, and provide technical information required to use the product or service. And that could be in shape of training out. Now, customer, what does that do? In a predictive environment, ensures the continued generation of improvements and delivered benefits, and captures additional customer input. Whereas product owner and manager works with the customer to identify work required for desired improvement. Okay. When the project team is providing the planned performance data, customer compares the actual performance to the planned performance, like KPIs and all, variances. And in Agile, product owner and project manager use the metrics chosen with team to measure the performance. Okay, what else? The third task was work with business owners to suggest benefit realization. So customer is responsible for implementing the benefit realization metrics at suitable intervals. And in case of agile and hybrid, product owner and project manager collaborate with the team to determine suitable metrics. Then we have got the project team determines if any remaining risk might prevent benefit achievement. So customer identify the risk, processes and tools needed to ensure continued benefit realization, and monitors the risk affecting delivered benefits. Whereas owner, or product owner, or project manager monitors the risk on impediments log, and collaborate with team about response. Project team provides technical information required to use the product or service. Customer updates the technical information, and product owner and manager collaborates with team to update technical information. So it is just a little difference between these two roles. The most of the responsibilities which were otherwise in a predictive were of the customer. Here, those responsibilities in agile and hybrid are mostly with the product owner or project manager. Rest the responsibilities of team are they remain the same. Benefits management plan. Actually, I would just summarize it. When, if you remember, we talked about it. Whose responsibility is to create the benefit management plan? Yes, please.
Project manager, if I'm not wrong, or
Sorry, wrong.
program manager.
No.
Then I'll stop guessing because I don't remember it on the top of my head.
Do you remember what are the business documents?
Yes, and it's the responsibility of the business analyst. So it's a
Responsibility
case
of
study.
who is responsible?
Business analyst.
Very
Business
good.
analyst.
Very good. And what are included in business document? What were the two things?
A case study.
No. Business case.
Yeah, business case.
And the
Case.
other was
Benefit management plan.
this is it. So this is to be created by him, not us. Right? This is beyond the call of duty for me to create a benefit management plan. So it very clearly says the benefit management plan is not part of the project management plan. Anyways, so benefit management plan is a major input to authorizing the project. Now you understand. Is a major input in authorizing. So the project manager comes after the authorization has been done, charter has been created. So project manager is nowhere to be seen. So benefit management plan is by no means is or her responsibility. Examine the requested benefits and determine if both the tangible and intangible benefit value, business value, will be realized from the project. Right? So this is what the benefit management plan does. Determine the time frame, short-term, long-term benefit realization. Identifies a benefit owner. This is important. Every benefit mentioned in the benefit management plan should have a benefit owner assigned for achieving those benefits. For example, if there is a benefit which is to be realized during the life of the project, maybe the project manager is responsible for that. If it is to be achieved, by the end of the project, maybe customer could be held responsible for that. But especially the long-term benefits, their realization is either the responsibility of the customer or the sponsor or the business analyst. And for that, for measuring the benefit, we must have some measurement mechanism, metrics, etc. And which individuals or groups measure results. Naturally, we have to decide that. About benefit owner, works with project manager and team lead, whomsoever is going to own, like the customer is a benefit owner. If the customer is a benefit owner, we will hand over the benefits in whatever shape, incomplete or complete, to them, and they will learn from us how to process it, and then it is their responsibility. They assist in transitioning the requested benefits to the receiving organization. Ensures the measurement metrics and methods are established. Reports to the management on the realized benefits or value of delivered benefits. In predictive, a benefit owner may be a business analyst, sponsor, or operations manager. In agile, product owner is responsible for making sure project work reaps benefits for the organization. Because product owner is a bigger job, right?
And product owner is only in agile, right? It's not in the
It's only in agile, yeah. And because you see, we have a concept of DevOps. So in that case, product owner is a kind of a constant and permanent position. In a DevOps, product owner is permanent. It's like a product manager in a way. Verify benefit realization in agile and hybrid. Naturally, we have the metrics. Product owner reports on progress for each tangible benefit. For intangible benefits, a subjective or qualitative determination could be made, like a survey, like, choose from 1 out of 5, right? Reporting should include, for tangible benefits, progress toward being met, any benefits at risk of not being realized as planned. So, risk in benefits, we have already talked about that if there are any risks to the benefits, we will hand over those risks to the customer. So, they are supposed to be reporting on that. Any resulting negative impact on strategic objectives and potential ending of the project team support, when the project team will stop providing the support anymore to the customer or for the benefit realization. In a predictive project, once the transition is complete, who is responsible for verifying the benefits are realized? Generally, I would say customer is ultimately responsible, but if at all you want to look at it, the project, a business analyst or the program manager, maybe in program manager is responsible for realizing all the benefits of all the projects under him. Therefore, he may be. Okay, question: which 3 of the following are the purposes of benefit management plan? Benefits identified in the benefit management plan will help guide the measurement of the benefits after implementation. Number 2, benefit owner will use or may change some of the metrics identified in the benefit management plan to track the actual benefit realized. Third, the benefit owner will ensure that the measurement, metrics, and methods will be established, tracked, and monitored after implementation. D, project manager is responsible for tracking the benefits from the project for the time specified in the benefit management plan.
That is A, B, and C.
Good, good. Project manager has absolutely nothing to do with that. Often the benefit management plan is created before the project is approved, along with the business case. You agree with that?
Yes.
Why is the benefit management plan created? A, benefit management plan is a feasibility study used to justify the project. B, benefit management plan is created to define the methods for creating, tracking, and sustaining the benefits provided by the project. C, benefit management plan describes how the project will be planned, managed, and controlled. D, benefit management plan is created by the project sponsor and authorize the project manager to start the project.
Only B seems correct and logical.
Exactly. C is talking about project management plan, not the benefit management plan. D is talking about a charter, not benefit management plan, right? So naturally,
Yes.
the only correct answer is B.
B.
Last year, your company released a new service based on a project you manage. The company wants to determine if the new service has increased customer satisfaction. Which tool measures the happiness of users based on their willingness to encourage others to use your service against those who would discourage others to use your service? This I did not teach, but this is a very common terminology which you should know.
Net promoter score.
Exactly.
B.
So net promoter score is exactly doing that's the thing which the definition is saying. Willingness to encourage others. That is the key. You see, when they ask your comments on anything, they say, okay, what point, how much, how do you grade it from 1 to 5? You say 5.
Yeah.
Then it asks another question, and that is a net promoter question. That is, are you most likely to recommend this to others? Right? And maybe there is a scale to it, 1 to 5. Right?
Yeah.
So that is actually the reason for Net Promoter Score. Okay, the last part is knowledge transfer. And knowledge transfer is whatever we have learned during the project. Maybe we have recorded them in a lesson learned register, or we have gained certain kind of tangible or intangible knowledge, which we call the tacit knowledge and the explicit knowledge. So that has to be archived or stored somewhere. Conduct retrospectives or final lesson learned. In case of agile, it would be retrospective. In case of predictive, it would be lesson learned meeting. But retrospective happens after every sprint, whereas lessons learned happen only once at the end of a project or phase.
Okay. It's
Archive,
not even happening at the end of the phase, right?
which one? It is happening.
Lesson learned.
They do happen at the end of the phase.
Okay.
But phase is too big. Agile has an added advantage. We are doing the retrospective after every 2 weeks, after every iteration. So archive all project information. That is one thing we need to do. Finalize the lesson learned register. Add the lesson learned to the knowledge management lesson learned repository, and transition knowledge from project team to the customer. That is the transitioning. Whatever we have learned through the process of managing this project, when we are handing it over to the customer, we must educate them how to operate this machine, how to do this. So we must transfer all the knowledge we have gained to them as well. So as far as conducting project retrospectives are concerned, we already understand it very well. In Agile and hybrid, we would have this concept. Whether it is hybrid, the iterations could be quite long, but in Agile, they are very appropriate size. And in predictive, it could be phase or the project closure, where the lesson learned will be done. So basically, internalize learning about the work, product, and process. Capture key successes and challenges. Consider qualitative and quantitative data. Use data to find root causes, design countermeasures, and develop action plans for next time. That is, we are strategizing for the next time. Praise, congratulate, and motivate the team. I think that is the most important point. Celebrate. We have done it.
Yeah.
Okay, for predictive, as we see in an agile team, might conduct a final retrospective at the end of the project, at the end of the release, but they do conduct retrospective everywhere, at the end of every sprint. But the project, in a predictive project, there is either the lesson learned exercise is at the end of the project only once, or at the end of the phase. Every phase has one. Finalize your lessons learned, scope changes, schedule impacts, risk and issues. And actually, when we are finalizing the lesson learned, we are able to collect data for our final report, which we have to submit to the organization. It is just a summarized report. It is not a very huge document, but you see, you should address these points in creating your final report. Consolidate the lessons learned about scheduling, about conflict management, sellers, customers, strategic alignment, tactical, whatever. Transfer these into the lesson learned repository. For a predictive project, our final report might include these headings, like what is the description of the project, what is the brief scope objective, quality objective, cost objective, validation information, schedule objective, benefit realization, and risks or issues encountered. But this is not an exhaustive list. You could have a couple of more items to be included in summary, depending upon your type of project you are doing.
And is it also available in Agile, or it's only in the predictive?
In Agile, we do not have reports of this kind, right? We have got all the information radiators. As I said probably earlier, that if you want to document whatever the Agile team is doing, Then keep a snapshot of the whole co-located place on daily basis. At the end of the
Okay.
day, take a picture of all the walls. That is your document.
And this final report is also different than the our project closure report, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's more of a
Yeah,
summary.
exactly. This is the same kind of report. Okay, question, what is the difference between lesson learned and register and lesson learned repository? Probably this was mentioned earlier in one of the slides that all the lessons learned must be from the register, they must be submitted into the lesson learned repository, because lesson learned repository has to do more than accumulating the lesson learned, but also the knowledge, right? So the two terms mean the same thing. The repository applies to single project and the register applies to many projects. Register applies to single project. Repository applies to many projects. Register contains only areas that need improvement in future projects, and the repository contains areas of improvement as well as positive findings. What do you say?
C.
Register applies to a single project, and the repository applies to many projects. Very good. Very right. Which three of the following are reasons for accumulating new organizational knowledge that the project manager, stakeholders, and team members discovered during the project? Choose three. Gather results from conducting retrospective. Gather results from conducting multiple lesson learned meetings during the project. Transfer knowledge gained in the lesson learned register to lessons learned repository. Capture new knowledge in the project sponsor's responsibility.
First three, A, B, C.
ABC, right? Because the sponsor thing is not right. Okay, we are done and dusted with this course. So,
That's good. Yeah.
any comments?
Yeah, no, it's good. Now I will start writing the application
Okay, good.
as soon as possible, and then I will not register for the exam straight away. First, I will just study and then decide the date later on. So
Okay.
my question to you is more that can I how like if for example if I book a date in November end
Uh-huh.
and like how many days will I have to reschedule it? For example, if I
Ah,
on 15th, yeah.
reschedule is very strict now. You have to have more than 30 days for the
Okay.
exam
So
to reschedule. And
and I can also
only one time. Only one time.
okay, and I can also register, let's say a week in advance, right?
Well, you can register, but the thing is, you have a high likelihood that you may not get a position, get a seat
Okay,
in
stop.
1 week. So it will anyways extend it to a month or so, right? But you might be very lucky. But then you can't change the date. If you book the exam 1 week earlier, then you have no opportunity to change.
Yeah. No, there are just like few health related things and I just
Mm.
want to plan it accordingly. So I was just thinking, yeah, just apply for it when I
Mhm.
am like at least 99% sure that I'm gonna give it next week.
Actually, apply for it, but
Okay.
then it is your discretion when you book the exam,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Then I will then just keep on looking and in 15 days I can see my
Yeah,
progress
exactly.
if I think I can do it.
You decide by yourself, but take a date which is most appropriate to you, and maybe give it a margin of 1 month or 45 days, right? You will have
Okay.
15 days to consider if you want to change the date.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
So most highly likely it's gonna be end of November, but we'll see.
right. Good enough. Good enough.
Okay.
So
Thanks. No, it's a very
for that you should submit your application probably now.
okay. I will. I will. Yeah. That's a good thing that you mentioned.
Yeah.
I'll, yeah, I will do it as soon as I can. Maybe in a week or so.
Hmm.
Okay. No, very good material. And It's very informative as well. It's also helping me in my day-to-day business-related activities.
Okay.
So yeah, good course.
Thank you.
And your teaching style is also good, because in online few of the times it seems like that you're not able to understand a lot, and then you're just lost. But no, the session is very interactive.
All right. Thank you. And you can keep in touch with me when if you have problem submitting your application, you are unable to understand a concept or something. I have recently been contacted by one of my portfolio students, and he is asking very complicated questions. So I asked him to come and talk to me on video, because that is quite discussable kind of item. I just can't explain it on in a email or something. So I
Yeah,
asked him that we can discuss it maybe for an hour or something, and I can answer your questions. So you can
perfect.
do that whenever you feel like.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you very much for your presence and for such interest in this course. You did very well, and I wish and I hope that you will be clearing in the first attempt. There's absolute
Thank
no
you so
problem.
much. Yeah, thanks. I hope so too. Yeah.
So thank you very much and take care. Bye bye.
You too. Thanks. Bye.